let's talk about what Bambi has to do with foreign brides, right? Sounds like a good fireside chat topic. All right, so as I recall, when I was in first grade, and I think my first grade teacher read us the entire book of Bambi, there was a part in the story of Bambi, if you'll remember the Walt Disney story, where there's a forest fire. And in a moment, Bambi, as a young deer, is lying in the grass. Bambi's mother runs by, and the forest is obviously in all this commotion because of the forest fire. And in a moment, Bambi looks up at his mother and says, "What do we do?" And she looks at him and she says, "Get up." And I always thought that was just such a great crystalline moment, okay? We're here, we're in the middle of all of this, we obviously need to do something. What do we do? Well, the first thing you've got to do is get up and get on your feet. And you know, guys, I think that's a great message for a lot of guys who are sitting, at the computer late at night, peering into the darkness, wondering whether or not they should be searching for an international life partner. And if so, how do I get started? There's so much information coming at me from all these different directions. And my advice to them is, look, get up and start moving, and move in any direction. But do anything but stay in your chair, peering into your computer hour after hour after hour in limbo. And realize, guys, that if you're going to get up and get started, one of the very first things that you should do is something that most guys in the foreign bride search never do. And that is to reach out to the guys who have done this successfully and talk to them and find out why they succeeded where other folks have not. I've said this before. We have a long list of guys who are available to tell their story, to offer advice, to talk about their group tour experiences, to share things like, I'm on a group tour with a bunch of guys who succeeded. Here's what they did. There were a few guys who did not. Here's what they did. These are the behaviors that lead to finding that beautiful girl who waits for you in this process. And these are the behaviors that'll trip you up. And getting the information firsthand from guys who have succeeded can be really instrumental in you moving forward in a very positive way. So that should be absolutely the first thing that you do. Find the agency that you're going to partner with. Call them up and tell them that you need a list of guys that have done this successfully so you can talk to them and find out what it is you need to do to get started, and they'll share that information with you. I can tell you, when we talk about the group of guys who get tripped up, one of the biggest things that's going to trip them up is going to be our just misunderstanding about other cultures. You see, we've lived our lifetime, listening to our media paint the picture of the rest of the world for us. And just as an example, I mentioned this last night in my Monday night conference call, Lima, Peru. When was the last time you heard anything on the news at all about Lima, Peru? And I believe there was an earthquake there several years ago. I think probably that was the last news coverage of anything that happened in Lima, Peru, right? So guys go to Lima, Peru and come back and tell me the city is wonderful. It's very tourist friendly. It's very safe. A lot of restaurants, a lot of shops, cool stuff to do. Beautiful waterfront. Very, very friendly for guys who want to go and retire there. I mean, a lot of options as far as places where you can go and live very affordably. And the women, they tell me, the guys especially who have done multiple tours, are incredibly affectionate, possibly the most affectionate women, which, let me tell you, is saying a lot. And again, we have nothing to base our impressions from our everyday general information, but if you talk to the guys that have been there, they'll tell you incredibly positive, very, very encouraging things. So again, you've got to get that cultural perspective from the guys who have been there and done that. And I'm just thinking of recent tours where guys have come back and they've said, I had a good experience, the tour was fine, but I couldn't get the girl to take a walk with me after 15 minutes with an interpreter. Oh, gee, why would you want to do that? I just thought it would be kind of a sexy thing for the two of us to take a walk together after 15 minutes of conversation. If they had asked me before the tour, I could have told them that most women would probably view that as something that was a little strange, not particularly safe. I'm not sure where that particular idea came from, but there are those kinds of cultural things that we sometimes expect that are just not correct in someone else's society, and we have to kind of have our mind wrapped down. So those little nuances are the kinds of things that guys who have been on tours before.
Are you a single man looking for love? Join men from all over the world as they take a trip and find their future brides. Check out our website at ColombianWoman.com. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Then click on the notice bell to get notified every time we add something new.